Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today we're going to be looking at a total dividend update for all of my portfolios across the board, which I got M1 Finance, Robinhood, and Vanguard. Although my Vanguard fund didn't pay out this month, but nonetheless, I will still take you guys into their portfolio so you guys can see how everything is doing. Now, what I'll do is I'll take you guys into each individual portfolio, and then I'll show you guys the total that I made from all of my dividends. Now, if you actually watched last month's video, I actually got paid out the most in December of 2019 in dividends. It was a great month overall. So many different dividends getting paid out across all three platforms that I have invested in. So it was really nice. January tends to be a lot slower, but nonetheless, it was still a good month overall. It was actually a pretty high performing one, especially for my M1, which is my main focus when it comes to earning dividends. So we're going to go ahead and bring up M1 Finance here in just a moment on screen, but also too, I'm going to answer a couple different questions that I've had in the comment sections in previous videos. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'll either answer them directly or bring them up here in future videos as well, so you guys can learn a little bit more when it comes to dividend investing. All right, so first up is going to be my M1 Finance portfolio. So here we are currently sitting at almost $1,400. Now, if you are paying attention, actually, that is quite a bit less than where I had it before. And as you can see in my cash balance right now, I'm sitting at over $132. Now, that is all because of Tesla. So their stock has gone up crazy amounts. And so I decided to sell a big portion of my overall shares into Tesla just temporarily because I was kind of hedging my investment there. So it was just something I wanted to do. I feel like it's gonna be long-term, something I'm still invested in, but with the way it jumped up just in the last couple of weeks, it was pretty outrageous. So I got out of it just a little bit, but I will plan on going back in. That's why I actually didn't have my money reinvested automatically, because I'm actually planning on putting that money back into Tesla. So with that overall, you can see here my portfolio has gone up almost $200 in the last year. If we jump down here by the quarter, it's been up $143, so it's a really good quarter. And then the last month, it went up $82. And then if we go down to the last week, we're actually up $54. And then the last day, which is of this recording, it's down almost $8 there. So still really good overall on the performance of this. Obviously, my Vanguard S&P 500 fund is a biggest portion of my overall portfolio here. And then I have different sectors that I am investing in as well. Now, let's go and take a look at the dividends that I got paid out with here in the portfolio. So I'm going to actually go ahead and filter this out, which is really nice. I can just chop everything else out of this list. And let's date range it from January 1st all the way to January 31st. All right, so these are going to be all the dividends I got paid out. Like I mentioned, January tends to be a slower month, so we don't tend to see as many dividends being paid out. All right, so it kind of got cut off at the bottom there, but we have ADP that gave us a dividend of 3 cents back on January 2nd. And then it was quite a while before we got another dividend, which was from McCormick. They gave us a dividend of 8 cents on January 13th. And then 2 days later, we got a couple different dividends, one of them from Digital Realty Trust. That one gave us 23 cents in dividends. We got Fifth Third Bank, gave us 6 cents. And then Realty Income, which is the monthly dividend paying stock, gave us another 14 cents on the 15th of January. And then a day later, Disney gave us 19 cents. Disney is semi-annual, so we only get it twice a year there. And then we also have Cisco gave us 12 cents on the 22nd of January. And then New Residential on the 31st of January gave us $1.46. And then TD Bank gave us technically 9 cents on the 31st as well, but then because they are an international company, it did take one of those cents away. So technically it was 8 cents that I earned, or at least the way I like to look at it. So that means that a total of $2.39 was paid out in dividends from M1 Finance for the month of January, which, again, like I mentioned, is even though it's a smaller month, it actually still was a really good month overall. And I'll show you guys in my dividend chart graph that I show you guys every month how much it actually earned me in comparison to other months prior, as well as all the other different companies we're going to be looking over here today as well. So if we go back into my portfolio here, like I mentioned, overall, oh look, it went out to $1,400 now since we were recording this. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think, investing into dividends is something that I still really love to do. I do also go into the growth opportunity as well, so I'm not just 100% into dividends. I know to some people that's a little worrisome because it feels like you're lowering your opportunity to grow your money. Obviously, I had money into Tesla. I also have money into things like Amazon, Facebook, Google. A lot of these companies don't pay out the dividends, but they're still in my portfolio because I do want that money to grow. So just a heads up for some people that are paying attention to that. Also, too, if you guys are getting some value out of this content, make sure you hit that like button down below. Helps out that YouTube algorithm, and then also lets me continue to provide free content just like this for you guys. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and jump onto the Robinhood portfolio here, and let's see where we're standing. So total in Robinhood, we have $678.57. It is down obviously today by $5.52. We're up almost $20 for the week, and then for the month we're up $66.26. But let's go ahead and take a look. Right now I just have a couple different stocks in my Robinhood portfolio. I got some Ford, I got some NRZ, I got some Microsoft, and I got a Vanguard fund as well too. I actually bought into that because it dipped so low that I thought it was going to come back up, which it really did. But those are all I have on here currently. I do plan on actually starting to invest a little bit more into my Robinhood, especially for the growth stocks, especially once fractional shares come in. I'm really excited for fractional shares to come into Robinhood just because that way I can start getting into these bigger companies without having to put the full dollar amount, because it gets a little difficult when I want to invest in companies at $300-$400 a piece when that is a majority of my portfolio or my funds that I want to invest in. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the settings here and check out how much I made in dividends. So we'll go here and click on dividends. So you're going to see here for the month of January, I made just one dividend, and that was with NRZ, and they paid me out 50 cents a share. So I had 12 shares by the time I hit the ex-dividend date, which gave me a total of $6. Now, NRZ is definitely a much higher risk dividend paying company than a lot of others. I don't sit here and recommend them necessarily to anybody else, but they've been paying me out some dividends for quite some time. So I'm pretty happy with them, and I'm using that money to start investing in other areas. Right now it's just building up into my portfolio. So that's all I got paid out from Robinhood, but $6 is a good chunk of change that I'm going to be able to utilize and invest into future companies, which is really awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at my Vanguard portfolio. As I mentioned, my Vanguard portfolio doesn't have anything paying out this month, but I do want to take you guys in there just to take a look. Now, my Vanguard portfolio is a retirement account, and I also combined it with my wife more recently as far as having everything looked at in one screen. So for me, the total amount in our overall Vanguard is $54,751.69. I am still contributing to my IRA for 2019. But if I scroll down here, I can see that my total for my account is sitting at $47,867, which is almost an all-time high. I hit over $48,000 a few weeks ago, and it kind of just fluctuates there. And then my wife has a traditional and a Roth. Both are sitting at a little over $3,000. One of them's almost at $4,000, which is really awesome there. But again, nothing earned out in dividends for this month, but eventually in March, they are going to be paying out a nice lump sum between all the different funds that I have with Vanguard. Now, I mentioned earlier that I also have a dividend spreadsheet where I plug in all my numbers so I can kind of see where I'm at month to month and then eventually year for year. So I'm going to show you guys here. This is what it looks like. This is currently my M1 Finance dividend income. Obviously 29 came to an end, so that one is all filled out. And then for January, as I mentioned earlier, I made $2.39 in that brokerage account, which is awesome. It was actually technically my second highest paying month through M1 Finance overall, as December was my highest, but that's also when I got paid out through a lot more companies. So I love being able to see this because it's going to really give me an idea of how I'm growing when it comes to my dividend earnings. And then hopefully over time, I just see this compound so much faster over and over. And then I also have a couple tabs here because I also wanted to check out with my Robinhood. So Robinhood, I made that $6, which is actually the highest that I've ever made on a Robinhood itself. And then like I mentioned with Vanguard, I don't have anything earning for January, and I know I won't have anything for February, so I plug those in as zeros. But overall, between all three different funds, I have so far earned $8.39 in January, which is, of course, how much I've made in total for the year so far. So pretty excited to see, how February and March start turning out, and then how these numbers start continuing to grow, because now I have more money in the portfolio. I have more shares in each of these companies that I'm invested in, and I can see that money continuing to compound. Now, I do have this available for free if you guys actually want this dividend income spreadsheet. I'll have a link to it in the show notes down below. You could just essentially head to my website and plug in your email. you'll get this entirely for free. All right, so let's go ahead and answer some questions that people have asked in the comment sections before in these videos, because I think it'll help others out. And if you have questions, like I mentioned, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. I'll definitely answer them for you in the comments, but I'll also share them out here so that way others can learn as well. These are just from my experiences and things that I'm utilizing. But Patrick G said, hey Dennis, does having multiple brokerage accounts make it more difficult when filing taxes, as in getting multiple 1099 DIVs, which are what you get for earning dividends? 2019 was my first year with Robinhood, and I want to try out M1 Finance to also get invested into some more expensive companies. Just don't want to complicate things, but I'm probably overthinking it. Now, definitely that is true. It is overcomplicating things just a little bit in your own head. Getting 1099 DIVs is honestly very simple for our standpoint. Whether you are filing taxes yourself or have a tax accountant, you're either filing an extra 1099 DIV or giving that paperwork to another, tax accountant. Doesn't make it a lot of work, honestly. It's fairly easy. It's just the amount of time that you have to wait for those things to come in. Usually it's like mid-February to the end of February to actually get your tax paperwork. And then you also get tax paperwork if you sold your stocks as well, whether it was short-term or long-term. So keep in mind for those, if you were waiting for tax paperwork, it does take a little longer than, a W-2 from a company or other tax paperwork that might be coming in. Now, Emmanuel asked a great question saying, can I invest in the same stock with different investing apps? Now, this was a great question, and if you actually follow along with my investing journey, yes, you can actually do this very easily. You can buy multiple stocks of the same company in different brokerage accounts. Now, why you want to do that can be for different reasons. I've done that a couple of times with some of the stocks that I have with Robinhood and also with my M1 Finance. And then even my Vanguard fund is actually an ETF that I also have in my Robinhood. So, but why would you want to do that? I mean, it's just up to every person. Sometimes you might be wanting to try different things out on different platforms. But yes, you can definitely buy into the same company on different investing platforms. So Rachel Lynn asked a great question. She said, this may be a complete idiotic question, but if the stocks are down, do they still pay dividends? And the reason this is a great question is because maybe a lot of people think that when the market goes down and, companies are losing value in their stocks, maybe they don't pay out dividends. For a majority of companies, that won't be the case. Most of them are still going to be paying out their dividends and try their best to pay out their dividends without having to cut anything down, because they know that's an important part of a lot of investors' futures and why they want to be invested with these companies. So they will do the best they can to keep up and pay out the dividends that they already said they were going to be doing, as well as, keeping growing that dividend every single year. So for a lot of companies, you're not going to see that happen where they're going to go down in value and then completely cut out their stocks. So it's a very rare case when it happens, and when it does, it actually hurts that company even more. But overall, to say that yes, you are still going to be getting paid out your dividends even when these stocks are actually in the downturn in the market, which is one reason a lot of dividend investors love to invest with dividend paying stocks. So right here, Clayton says, in your opinion, what do you feel is the right amount of stocks to hold in a portfolio? Obviously, there is no set answer as everyone is different, but in your case, what do you feel is a comfortable level as it pertains to how many stocks you have? This is obviously a fantastic question, and it does really pertain to each person. I think if you are someone who really likes to pay attention to stocks and be involved with how those companies are doing, I think 40 to 50 stocks, kind of where I'm at with M1 Finance, is a really strong setup because it gives you a great diversity, but I don't think it's too much to the point where it's hard to keep up with each stock individually. Now, a counter to that is if you're somebody who doesn't really care about paying attention to a lot of this stuff, having invested 50 stocks can be really overwhelming, like really overwhelming, which is why ETFs are a fantastic way to go versus having individual stocks. But if you have anything less than like 5 or 10 stocks, like you're not really diversifying your portfolio. So in my opinion, if you are somebody who is not really interested in keeping track of all that stuff, being involved with ETFs is a much better route to take than being involved in only 5 to 10 stocks, because you're not going to be very diversified in the overall market, which can leave you up to a lot more risk. Now, there are some, great investors that have a lot less invested in, and that's fine. But if you're getting started, I would either try to look into ETFs and or be involved in quite a few more stocks so you're very diversified. But like Clayton says, this is definitely to every single person individually. For me, I think 40 to 50 stocks is a really solid number to be around, which is kind of where I'm at with M1 Finance. I believe I'm at 51 or 52 stocks total, but that's also including my ETF, which is 25% of my overall portfolio. Now, if you haven't gotten started with investing yet, but are curious on which apps are going to be the best ones to go with, check out my video right over here where I go over some of the top apps in investing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.